Hi everyone, happy Sunday, and I hope you have gone to church to praise God for being alive today and also for what He continues to do for us. Today, I just wanted to come on live today just to share with you the importance of mental health. I touched a little bit briefly on my introductory page why mental health or mental wellness is very important to each one of us. But today I just want to dive into it a little bit to discuss what mental health is. And as you are aware, mental health is very important in as far as each and every one of us is concerned. Without mental health, it's very hard for you to keep going because mental health involves thinking. Mental health involves the brain functioning. But today, I just want us to look at a little bit about mental health. So, to help me understand the meaning of mental health, I have my nephew, Chileshe, to help me discuss a little bit what mental health is all about. Chileshe, introduce yourself and be able to say hello to the viewers.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about mental health, and I've got a few questions that I need to confirm about mental health. So, to begin with, I would like to ask Aunt Katie here what mental health is and understand it more.
All right. Thank you, Chileshe, for that question. Just to understand a little bit about, or to explain a little bit about mental health. Mental health is the state of well-being of an individual. When I mean well-being, it has to be a place where you are functioning well in everything. When I say everything, it involves your health, your physical, your thinking, and how you revolve yourself with others. Without all these things being in place, it will be very hard for you to function on a day-to-day activity. When I say your physical, I mean your body that houses everything has to be physically fit. By me saying this, I mean that you have to make sure that you are able to eat a balanced meal, meaning having 3-course meals, which will have all the nutrients that you need to maintain your body and also to give you the energy, because the brain more especially needs the energy to function. If you don't have the energy, the brain will not function as expected. The brain directs you in everything that you do. It helps you to balance everything. But if you don't have the energy to keep you going, it will be very hard for you to have a good mental health. And when it comes to your strength, you need the strength to do everything. And if you don't have the strength to carry on your tasks on a daily basis, it will be very hard for you. In order for your mental health to be accurate, you need also the support of others. You can't just be by yourself all the time. You need others, you need people, you need to mingle, you need to socialize, because by so doing, you are exercising your mental wellness. When I say socializing, you have the community where you live. You also have your friends. You just can't be quiet. You can't just sit alone without talking to people. Then you put your brain in a dormant state. So that's why it's important for you to go out, socialize, and see how the world is revolving around you. And also, as Christians, it's very important to connect with God, because without God, we'll lose our track. God help us to have the purpose of living. God is the center of our living. Without God, we will find ourselves astray. So it's very important that you connect spiritually with God. You can go to any religion where you will be able to understand the importance of spiritual health or wealth. Without spiritual wealth, it's very difficult for your mental health to function properly. And you have to exercise. When you do exercise, you are also, strengthening your body. Exercise doesn't just mean people going to the gym and then you call yourself that I'm exercising. You can take a short walk just to let the blood in your body flow properly. And by so doing, because everything that we do involves movement, so as long as you are able to move around, that can be considered exercise, but it has to be consistent in such a way that you are able to make your body active. Because if your body is not active, so is your mental health going to be. So as you can see, Chileshe, I just gave you a brief understanding of why it is important to have your mental health taken care of so that you can be able to function normally. You can be able to understand why you need to think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, according here to my question, I think everybody who's heard the explanation properly can be able to understand. But again, on top of that, I would like to ask what would happen to someone who doesn't have a proper mental health? What really goes on when we talk about what happens?
Thank you, Chileshe, for that question. That's a good question. As you can see, when your mental health is not functioning properly, that's when you find that people develop mental health disorders or diseases that makes them now not to function normally. And when we talk about mental health disorders or diseases, there are a number of things that play a role. And I can give you examples of some of the mental health disorders that people undergo without even knowing that, they are going through this. So one of the most common one which affects people is depression.
Okay.
Depression is a mental health disease or disorder that can be developed through so many ways. Some people can have depression through heredity from the family side. Some people can also develop depression because of a number of things that can affect them. And one of them, maybe if you lose a job and you are not able to meet your needs, you have lost a loved one that you love the most and they are no longer there, that can also affect you. And if the solution to the cause of depression is not resolved in good time, you'll find that you end up developing what we call clinical depressive disorder. And this can be diagnosed maybe if the same symptoms that you are showing have run for about 2 weeks. And I can give you a few examples of the symptoms that can tell you that somebody has major depressive disorder. You find that they find themselves isolated from everyone because they don't want to be part of everyone's life. So they tend to isolate themselves. Sometimes you find them just lock themselves in the bedroom, and they become even unkempt. By saying unkempt, I mean they don't even care about themselves, how they look, their appearance, the physical appearance. And some people even lose appetite. They don't feel like they want to eat. And then that also affects them when it comes to sleeping. At night, they don't even want to sleep because they are depressed. And some people even tend to eat more, the opposite of lack of appetite. Yeah. They begin to eat more than the normal. So all these symptoms can make you understand that there's something wrong. And some people even want to kill themselves because they feel like they are not worth of living. So the best solution they can take is just to take their life. But this is where I come in as a psychiatrist. If I come across this individual, I'll be able to help them look at the symptoms and then come up with something that can help them to resolve these issues. Or if we cannot resolve through other means, then the person can end up having medication management. Then we have what we call anxiety. A lot of people go through anxiety disorders. So if they cannot contain themselves, when there's an issue pending, instead of them finding solutions, they just become anxious. Their heart rate starts going up. They cannot sit still. They'll be pacing back and forth. And those people, sometimes all you need is just to calm them down. And then, or get to the understanding of what is the cause of anxiety. And then you help them to come out of it, or you help them also to find a solution to the problem that is affecting them. We also have what they call bipolar disorder. This is a mood swing disorder. You find that somebody will be happy this moment and then the next time they are sad. And these people also find themselves not sleeping. They can stay maybe for a number of days without even going to bed. But their energy will still be enough to do a lot of things. And then when they go to sleep, they can sleep for days without even waking up. So this is what they call bipolar disorder. Then we have what we call schizophrenia. That is also a mental health disease whereby somebody's thinking is affected. They don't think normally like we do. They see things that other people are not seeing. I'm seeing you as Chileshe, but they'll be seeing something beyond you. They'll look at the wall and see some things, or they'll be hearing voices telling them to kill themselves, or maybe they are talking to somebody who has been long gone and they keep saying this is what they are telling them, or they are telling them to kill themselves and all that. Okay. So most of these diseases that I've just touched, there are a number of them, but these are the most common ones. So the diseases that I've touched on today, they can be able to, in the brain, there are chemicals that makes the brain to function. But there are times when these chemicals in the brain are not balanced. And when they are not balanced, then they end up developing these mental health diseases that I've just talked about. But the way we manage such diseases is to look at what is the cause of this problem that this individual is having. And then we go on and put them on medication that will help to balance those chemicals in order for the brain to function normally. But if they don't go if they don't undergo the treatment that they are supposed to have, these are the people you see, especially here in Africa. You see them on the street with tattered clothes and kempt hair. They are talking to themselves. And sometimes I remember when I was young, as young children, they would be following them and even, throwing stones at them. I don't know if this is happening now, but that's what used to happen. So they were never accepted in the society. So as a result, they just sleep outside, and some people end up even being knocked by the car just because, they lose track. They don't fear for anything that can happen because their mind is not functioning properly. So this is what really happens when it comes to mental health if it's not well maintained.
Okay. Okay, so as we all can hear, what can happen to someone without good mental health. I would like to post another question and try to understand more on how someone can be helped and who can really help someone who's having a poor mental health make it maintained and good, and what activities can you engage someone who's having a bad mental health so that maybe they can be monitored frequently instead of relying on drugs or other activities. How can we make someone comfortable to the point whereby they can even open up and maybe explain what's leading to mental health?
Okay. Thank you, Chileshe. That's a very brilliant question that you have asked me. So when it comes to mental health disorders, once you are able to identify that there is a problem, one of the people that can help you is your family. First of all, the family members are the ones who are going to see that there is something that is not right. And they will be able to assist that person to seek mental health attention by the mental health professionals. So when it comes to helping these individuals, we have people we call the psychiatrists. These are the people that are trained to treat these diseases and help manage these diseases. But there are times when an individual does not need medication management. All they will need is just to be counseled. Then we have the people that we call the therapists. These therapists come in and counsel this individual based on what the problem is. They will look at what the problem is, and then they will come up with a treatment plan that will assist this individual to get back to their normal functioning, our mental wealth. It's very important that once this problem is found in any person, is addressed as soon as possible. And if they have no way of having help, then they'll be able to ask the family members to seek mental health care. So that way they'll be able to address the issue as quickly as possible, because if it's not addressed as soon as it is, then it will escalate, and it will be hard for that individual to get the right treatment on time.
All right. As you were explaining, something just crossed my mind, and I think it would be better for me to ask this question so that even at home and as family members, you can be able to detect when someone is having problems. So, what do you really do to those people who are suffering from a bad mental health, but they can't really open up to even the family members or maybe going for therapy? Because mostly I have seen most of the people who have condemned going for therapy or maybe opening up to their families. So how can you make one feel comfortable and be able to open up?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. That's really a very brilliant question. I like the way you are coming up with questions. But first of all, when something is happening, you are the person who lives with that person. You see a change that is not the routine of that individual. So the moment you start seeing those things, it's better to address it. And even when they come to us as mental health professionals, we have to build trust, which is our profession. We have to build trust to make sure that those people trust us. Because if you trust me and know that whatever you are going to discuss with me just remains with me, then you'll be able to open up. And I don't expect you to open up when we just meet in the first place. We have to build a relationship. Building a relationship in a treatment of any kind is very important. That's the reason why it's important that you build that rapport with that individual so that they can be able to open up. It takes some time for somebody just to trust you. And that's why these professionals, they are trained in such a way that they can be able to encourage that individual to open up. Because if they are not able to open up, it will be very hard for you as a practitioner to even treat them their problems that they are facing with.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the explanation. But one thing again is it okay if maybe you can try to find an activity that you can be doing with that person, which can maybe speed up the trust process? And like, how really can you make someone trust you?
Thank you. The way you approach that individual matters.
Okay.
So like I mentioned earlier, that's why these people who work with such individuals, they go to school.
Okay.
So the education that they get helps them to, bring out that trust into that, from that individual. So, like I said, the first meeting might not be successful because they don't know you and they are not going to say much. But as you are talking to them, you are also coming up, just like you were coming up with questions as we talk, because you are understanding what we are talking about. Then you build that trust, because our goal in the first visit is to build the trust. Before I can even do any other activities with you, is to make sure that you trust me that I'm here to help. All the healthcare professionals, they are there to help. So that's the reason why even when they visiting or seeing any other person, the first thing that we emphasize on is to make that person trust you, because trust issue is a big thing when it comes to people with mental health issues. So if you don't build the trust in the first place, it will be very hard for you also to even treat that person. First of all, you have to make sure that you trust them. They also trust you. And then you can move on with the plan. Because they have the right to refuse, but you can't force them. Just because they are having issues, that doesn't mean they'll just take your word for it. You have to build the trust, you have to build the relationship. And that's where the counseling skills comes in, is to build that relationship. Yes.
Okay, so like we have heard the explanations and everything that one can follow to help maybe a family member or a friend to have an improved mental health. And in addition, or maybe I can pose a question to say, can we say someone maybe who has a low self-esteem to experience such, and how can that really affect maybe the family or maybe the friends?
So when somebody has a low self-esteem, of course, it affects a lot of things. Okay. You find that because they don't trust themselves, they are not confident in everything that they do. Okay. So when you are not confident, a lot of things do not work. Okay. They don't come out to be the way they are supposed to be. So that, like I said earlier on, us being healthcare professionals, the first thing that I do is to encourage that person to build their self-esteem, because self-esteem is very, very important. If you have no confidence in yourself, because all you think about is failure, and when failure crops your mind, it will be very hard for you even to do what you are supposed to do. So that's why there are a number of counseling techniques that we use that can help to build that self-esteem. And then that individual will be able to take up from wherever they ended and carry the burden that they are supposed to carry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is not really a question, but I think addition on the explanation and the advice I can give to the viewers, I would say it's very important to build a very peaceful and straightforward relationship with the kids, or maybe if you're being kept by your guardians, I would really encourage the guardians to build that relationship and being able to trust each other so that you can avoid issues of mental health with your children. Because I know some of us, we have got family members who are undergoing such problems. So it's better to be there for that person than neglect them because of what they do, their behaviors. Yeah. So I think it's very important if, as a family, maybe you are there for that person regardless of their situation and state.
Yes, that's exactly true. When one is going through mental health, it's not just them who are affected. So everyone in the family will be affected. And that's the reason why there are times, depending on what problem they are presenting with, when they come to see a professional, a healthcare professional, sometimes we engage family counseling where we are not just teaching the person who has the mental health issue. We are also helping the family to understand how to help that individual. Because like I said earlier on, when one is affected, it affects everyone. As long as you are part of that family member's life, you'll be affected in one or another, because the way they'll be behaving will also have an impact on everyone else who is connected to them. That's the reason why sometimes we do offer family counseling, where we bring every family member to have counseling together. And that also helps in as far as supportive system is concerned, because you need to support them to heal. And if there is no proper support from the family, it's very difficult for somebody to heal as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Okay, I think your explanations have cemented everything that I had, and all the questions that I had. I think they have been answered. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shileshe, for helping me to just have a brief explanation on the importance of mental health in everyone that will be watching this. And like I said, without mental health or mental wealth, it's very hard for one to take care of themselves. It's very hard for one to function in society or in the community. It's very hard for one even to carry a task to the completion because they have something that is not right. And like I said, if your body is not receiving proper nutrition, it will also affect your mental health. If you are not exercising, you are just dormant, your brain will not function properly. If you don't have a strong spiritual tie, it will also affect you, because in all this, when you put them together in one or another, that cements your mental wealth, and then you would be able to function properly. You'll be able to make sure that you are meeting your day-to-day activities in a way that is expected of you. So like I said, today, this is all I can discuss with you guys, and I hope you pick one or two things just to make sure that you are able to get the full understanding of what mental health is all about. So until next time, I am signing off, and I wish you a blessed Sunday today. Good afternoon. Bye.